Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, Facebook, good evening, YouTube, good evening, world. As you come along, join and share, start a watch party so somebody can, tune into this intriguing interview. This evening, to God be the glory. It is Monday, Monday, the 12th of April 2021, a day that we have seen, one that we will never see again. We are streaming live on Facebook, we are streaming live on YouTube, and we have such an intriguing interview this evening with international gospel recording artist Gigi Rivera, and to God be the glory. Thank God for her to accept the interview. As you come along, join and share so somebody can tune in and know who is Gigi. This evening, as it's announced, while in our program, we will be giving away some credits. We'll be giving away some credits. So anybody that is in Jamaica, you are eligible, right, to get credit tonight. And I'm seeing joining on live, I'm seeing we have Evangelist Green, Apostle Uname Sharp. Good night, Apostle. Thank you for joining me. Good night, Evangelist Green. Thank you for joining me. And I'm seeing where the live is building up. As you come along, join and share. Good evening to my guests. Good evening, Gigi. How are you?
I'm fine, Rev. How you doing?
I give thanks.
Amen, amen.
You're looking beautiful as always. All right, Gigi, thank you for joining me this evening and Talk with Rev. We're gonna know a little bit about you. But before I we go into the interview, just to give away the first credit, anybody can WhatsApp me from Jamaica, anybody who can WhatsApp me a screenshot of them subscribing to the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is Pastor Rohan Dunn. Anybody can send me a screenshot of you subscribing to the YouTube channel. A credit, whether digital or a flow credit, is yours. All right. So thank you again for joining me, Gigi. We're going into a program. Who is Gigi?
Woo! Gigi is the 13th child of Cynthia and Alfred Fowler.
13th child of Cynthia and Alfred Fowler,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And I'm seeing your mom is watching online. Good evening to you, Sister Fowler. Good evening to you online. All right. So, all right. Tell us a little bit about your childhood, Gigi. How did you, where did you grow up?
Okay, so I was born in St. Anne, of course, 9 miles, the country part. So, and at the age of my parents migrated here. I think I remember being 4 years old. I'm not quite sure, and I don't want to lie because you're the Reverend. I don't want to do that. But yeah, but I think I was four. And while they moved here, we moved with my aunt, which is when I met you. She had passed away. Um, she raised us until my parents were able to come back and get us. And then at the age of, I just turned 9 when I moved to the United States. And grew up. My dad's a pastor; he's a bishop, and I grew up in the church with all my siblings. And I know nothing but church. So my I thank God for my parents for that.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So I hear you said about you grew up in Jamaica and 9 Mile. All right. Before we go into the music background, uh how how did you transfer to the adjustment now in the United States? How was that?
It was hard. I was a little girl, and I was so oh my God. I When we moved here, it was in the 90s and early 90s. That's when we were having like foot of snow. I was in such a depression because I wanted to move back home to Jamaica because that's all I knew. I could just picture myself playing outside and everything. It was hard. And then, as the years go by, you get adjusted. But in the beginning, it was very hard, especially being from Jamaica, moving to the United States. They make it seem like it was a bad thing, but But now, as you can tell, it's not. So, it was very hard for me to adjust in the beginning, but afterwards, it was good.
Indeed, indeed, indeed.
Yes.
All right, going into the music aspect of it, what
Okay.
made you become an gospel recording artist?
Okay. So, let's go back to Jamaica. I remember being a little girl, and always have something called a rally. We say concert, you got your rally, and they had put my name down to sing. I didn't know I could sing, so I pretend I was sleeping, and but they always used to call on me. So eventually, when I migrated here, I was singing in the choir because my parents, they're leaders of the church. So I started singing, and everybody just started telling me, "Okay, you can sing, you can sing, you can sing." So I always got the solos at, most of the time, or if they need something to be directed, they will, shoot it over to me. Being, I think I was like 10 years old, and the more I did it, the more I got comfortable with it.
Okay, awesome. I hear you said art. So you made a good choice. You made a good choice to be in a gospel um recording artist.
Yes.
Now, um, growing up, I hear you talk about Jamaica. Now, what before you even reach overseas, what made you decide to record gospel music? Because you could have gone the other way. What made you decide to record gospel music?
Why gospel? My dad's a pastor, like I said. That's all I knew. I knew no life outside of church. So that's what I was used to. That was the norm. And I
Mhm.
loved it. Even growing up here, I had the choice. Producers came to me and asked me to sing secular music. And I was like, no, I can't do it. It just did never sat right with me. Never, ever. So gospel is my world. Like I had a dream when I was a teenager that I was singing gospel, and I just never lost sight of that dream. I just held on to that dream until I got a little bit older to pursue it. But um, secular music is not my thing. It's not my favorite thing at all. Never was. Never
Uh,
was.
awesome, awesome. Understand, understand. All right. So, in otherwise, from we're gonna get back into the music aspect of it.
Okay.
But my producer is here, and we are trying to sort out because the late start that we have and all of this.
Okay.
So before in church, did you otherwise from music? What did you do in church otherwise from music?
Um, Honestly, I like when I was younger in my 20s, I was the youth president, vice president, I should say. So, I work a lot with the youth, and I was a choir director. So and it would lead back to music again. But it was what I really, really enjoyed was being a vice president for the youth department. And I did it for a few years, and it was good. I learned a lot. Learned how to communicate with, the younger folks. It taught me a lot. A lot.
Okay. All right. So nobody knows you. Nobody knows you. And I'm going to just put this out there.
Okay.
Anybody that can tell me a song that you have recorded, right? On,
Okay.
on our live now, different from Big Up My God. A credit is yours. So anybody that who is listening right now can tell me a song that Gigi has recorded differently from Big Up My God. A credit is yours. Now, Gigi,
Yes, sir.
uh, you have transitioned overseas, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
And and you have you have you have transitioned overseas. Now, who inspired you to make music?
Honestly speaking, the Grace Thrillers. I love the Grace Thrillers, and I actually took Sandra Brooks in at a concert up here in the U.S. in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and it was like one of the best concerts I've ever been to. So that
Yes.
I always love her. Even as a teenager, going back to Jamaica, I remember hearing her music, and I'm like, who is this lady? I want to know who this lady is. You're like, she's Sandra Brooks, she's from Jamaica. I'm like, no, she's not from Jamaica. Oh my gosh, she's so good. And then the older I get, the more I got into Sandra Brooks, and she's like that's why I wanted to do music, because I idolized her voice. I wanted to be like that.
So Sandra Brooks is
Yes.
your, yes, inspired you to do music. And I think we have a winner, Gigi. If you can see
Oh,
on screen here, Minister Anton Johnson, he says he is here.
wow. Awesome.
so so
Yay.
so congratulations.
Congrats.
I see somebody answering another song, but definitely that Minister Anton Johnson got that one. Now I want to ask you, right? How would this you describe the music that you create?
Um, it tells a story. I just don't get up and say I'm going to write a song. It ministers to me. It's a ministry. So like he is here. God gave me that song. I would say I was going through a rough part of my life when he gave me that song, and so it's the life that I live, and he allows me to write music so I can relate to people. So it's just not just getting up, I want to sing. No, it has to come from here. I have to feel it from here in order for me, to pursue with it. And God will give it to me in 2 weeks or a day or so. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. I lost you.
All right, so
I can
you're
hear
hearing
you
me
now. There
now?
you go.
Wonderful. All right, so you're in the music industry.
Yes.
Now I want to ask you, um, what is your creative process like? How do you create your songs?
Honestly speaking, like there are days that I'm here fasting and praying and it comes to me, but most likely God speaks to me when it's like midnight. Midnight. So half the time I would usually pray and read my Bible and then go to bed. And then I would get up with just a song just humming in my head, just one verse. And I would sit down and I would start to write that verse. And if it's still like clicking, I start to sing it and wake my husband up. So it's like at midnight, it constantly happens at midnight, except for with one song. And that was I'll Call You Friend. I was driving on that 95 when I wrote that song, but it's just always at midnight. That's when God hits me up at midnight. And it's just amazing the words that he gives to me. it's it's so unique that it's hard to explain sometimes, because the words that flow, it sometimes it just blows my mind. And I'm still trying to hear you, but
All right, this is a very technical question.
okay, all
All
right.
right. Now, I don't want you to give me the same person that you said because maybe you will, but
Okay.
I think they are a different set of group now. Who would you most likely to make music with as an artist, as another gospel artist?
My dream, CC Winans. I like, I grew up in a CC. um I love her voice. I just love her. She never changes. And one day, mark me, one day I am going to sing with CC Winans. I would love to.
Awesome,
Yes.
awesome. What about her though? Why?
You know what? She ministers to me. Like her music never changed. Like, a lot of artists, they go from gospel and then they start to sound different. Like hers is just the same. It like, just like how God never changed, her music to me remains the same. Some artists, they kind of slide off and then slide back in. It's like her, it's like, okay, I'm doing gospel and it's just gospel. And I love that about her. She sticks to
Hmm.
what she's doing.
Awesome, awesome.
Yes.
All right, let me ask you this.
Okay.
What is one message you would give to a fan? What is one encouraging message you would give to somebody that is a fan of yours?
One thing I would give to them is, whatever your dreams is, follow them. And just ask God to guide you and to lead you, because once you put him first, I'm not saying that because a lot of people say it. I'm saying because that's what I follow and it works for me. So it's like, it's just trusting God through the process. It's going to get hard, it's going to get tough, but whatever dream that God placed inside of you, he gave us all gifts, and it's up to you to utilize it while you're on earth. So Go for it. Don't stop, no matter how hard it gets. Keep on pushing, because he never said it was going to be easy, but keep pushing, because once you let him guide you, once you put him first, everything else will add. It's going to be some bumps and bruises along the way, but never give up on the gift that God gives you. He gave it to you for a reason. Utilize it. Go for it.
Awesome, awesome. Out of all of your songs that you have created, which one is your favorite?
I call you friend.
I Call You Friend. Why?
I call
Tell us about the background behind that song.
I was driving on I-95, and I was just thinking about God. And usually I hear people talk about God, but I'm like, okay, it's just like a cliche. I want to have that relationship with him. And I'm like, God, I'm just thinking about everything that he's doing for me, and the bumps and bruises, but he always like come to my rescue. And I'm like, you know what? That is a friend. Not like some friends go and come, but like a true friend sticks to you. And every time I sing that song, I honestly I tear up inside, because if people, like, we all have a story behind us, and if people know my past, and I'm not perfect, but only a friend can deliver me from a dark place in my life to bring me where I am right now. And it's just singing it alone, I cry. Even when I was recording it in the studio, my producer slash manager, he was like, wow, it took you like no mistakes with that song, because while singing it, I could just feel the Holy Spirit. So I Called You Friend is my favorite.
Indeed, indeed. You know, what, being in the music industry, what is the best advice that you have gotten so far?
Trust the process. With me, I always want things boom, 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 boom. And I never knew that it took time. And it's just trusting the process. You have to trust the process. People who's been in it for a while, they know what they're talking about. And when you say something, stick to your guns. Don't change for nobody, because other people's gonna come at you. Oh, do this, do that. Don't change. Stick to your gun and trust the process. We might not like it, but trust the process. That's my thing. And Mr. Bill Kane taught me that, trust the process. He'll tell me that every day, trust the process. So it's like my testimony, trust the process.
Okay, let me just pause here and ask
Okay.
another question.
Yes, sir.
Who is who who is the pro, or I'd say recording company that Gigi is with? That's the question tonight. Who
Okay.
is who? No, I don't want you to. That's the question. I don't want.
Oh,
And let, yes, I don't want you to answer. I'm
okay.
asking them to answer that question. Who is the recording? What do you call it, Gigi?
It's a
Um,
recording. It's a label.
Yes,
Label.
who is the label that Gigi is under? Anybody can answer that question will win a credit tonight. All right. So back to our interview until they come up with that answer. If you could change anything about the music industry, right? I see somebody. I don't know what this means. Can you tell me? I don't know if
And she
that.
even got it wrong. And she's not allowed to. She got it wrong. It's not it.
Okay. All right. So they can try again. If you could change anything about the industry, what would it be? The music industry.
Hmm. Honestly, right now, is I think us as gospel artists don't get enough credit as we should. I just think that they need to give gospel recording artists. Uh, Somebody got it. Diana got it. Yes.
Congratulations, Diana.
I, I just wish the industry would respect artists, gospel artists, the way they do hip hop and other music out there. Gospel artists, they just take us and throw us under the rug sometimes. It's like we're not valuable, but we're proclaiming the name of Jesus, and we get less recognized. I just think we need to get more respect being gospel artists.
Awesome. Definitely. And that is so true. That is so true. I heard you mention in that a while ago that, um, that sometimes you persons just throw you under the bus. But what I want to ask though, um, when that all right, that normally happens to somebody. What would you say to them, a person who is in that situation? How would you tell them to move on?
Honestly, you have to go back to the source because you have to believe in the God that you serve. So I honestly would do is go back to my label, and if I'm getting any gigs or anything, it's gospel. You're not going to change me. I refuse to be changed. I refuse for anybody to change me. I'm very stubborn, and I'm a stick to my gun. So when it comes to like the gospel world, even though they take us and throw us aside, we are all valuable. It's music. We're ministering. It's different from hip hop and R&B and all that stuff. I will go back to the source. You have to. Um, don't take no gigs, even though it's money, but God can deliver you. But I,
Hmm.
I wouldn't take any money from any gigs that's going to not respect that I'm a gospel artist. I'm gonna stick to my gun. I would tell them, I'm sorry, but I can't do it. Give me the respect that I earned, then I will do it. You gotta
Awesome.
respect me.
Awesome, indeed. And you have to, at some point in time, you have to know what you stand for in life. You have to stand for something, at some point in time. Now, I would say, tell us a little bit about your motivator. I hear it most times when I see you go live. And let me see if we are on the same page here.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about your motivator, who motivates you or motivators. Tell us a little bit. If let's see if you're on the right track here.
Okay. I know a lot of people gonna say my bestie. Yes. Bestie pushes me. My husband, I cannot leave him like that. Him, oh my God, he's my rock. He is my rock. And my husband can sing, but chooses not to sing. So he will push me. He wants me to be there. But Bestie always come on, okay, Gigi, let's go. And my mama, she, even if I'm not going live, she will call, oh my God, I miss your live. I miss your live. And she will call me, like, are you going to be on live? My sisters, are you going to call me? Are you going to be on live? So call me when you're going to be on live, because if I'm in church, I will rewatch it. But my mom and Bestie, they up there.
Okay, indeed, indeed,
Hold
indeed.
on, I'm gonna get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. I work in the health industry,
Yes,
and a lot of my coworkers, they push me. My family, yes, they push me too, but my coworkers, when I'm at work, I will walk in at work and hear here's playing. And if somebody is acting up like a patient, they will put on Big Up Me God and party with those patients. Like they don't really promote gospel music, you know, in the place that I work, but they push mine, and that's favor right there. Like my
yes,
coworkers, they push me.
indeed, indeed.
Yes.
Now, I hear you talk about co-workers, and I know, and I hear you said about they don't really, the gospel music. How do you balance that in your workplace? How do you balance it? The work.
Honestly, what I do is, first of all, they all know church, gospel. They know it. But like even when it comes to patients, what I do is I will go inside a room, and if somebody's crying and I ask them what's going on, they'll tell me cancer, whatever it may be, and I'm like, "Are you a believer?" And they would say yes or nay. And most of them said yes, or I'm spiritual. So 90% of the time, I just want the green light. And I would just go there and I would just start singing the song, or I put He is Here. Whenever they're going through something, I put He is Here on, and I would leave the room. I was like, okay, God, what you want me to do? When I come back, I see tears crying, and they're like, thank you so much for that. And it's just an open door for me to minister to them. You know, I would just start praying with them, or we'll read a word, or I show them this person or that person, and just dig into their spiritual life and let them know that you know um, God is here for you, and it pushes my ministry to another level because most of them, they end up subscribing to me or downloading my music. So I minister through my songs at the workplace, and because it's gospel too, I'm just like, yes, one more win, Jesus, one more, okay. So it's like almost every day it's another one.
Awesome, awesome. Ah, you know, when I look, and one of the songs that really, and you can see we start with it tonight. It's really
Yes.
catchy, very catchy, and it has a buzz to it. And definitely, if you really push that song, definitely it will go far. a lot of persons, they are new to that song, right?
Yes.
Most of our listeners. Now, I want you to tell us a little bit about that song. How did that song come into play?
Okay, so I was at work one day and I did something for a patient, and they came outside, and like the bigger bosses, they came and they said, thank you, such and such and such, and a Jamaican walked by, and she said, my girl, big up yourself. You always know how to do that. Big up yourself. And I'm like, I can't big me up. I said, hold on. My producer's wife asked me to write a song, a Jamaican song, but me don't want to big up myself. I want to big up God. So I said, okay, God, I need a song that represent you, represent my country, but I could bring everybody in. And I sat down and I said, God, I need you. And again, midnight, I got it at midnight. So I just sat down and I said, okay, I want all the continents in there so nobody feels left out. That sometimes in the music industry, we cater to what we know are mostly English. So I wanted the Spanish, the Africans, like everybody. I wanted everybody involved, but represent Jamaica and God at the same time. And that's where Big Up My God came in. So
Awesome, awesome.
one thing you said, if I really push that, is being pushed. It's a
Yes,
lot of surprises going to come up with that song. It's coming,
yes.
so stay tuned.
All right, all right, all right. Before I ask my next question, just want to chip in another question here for our viewers. The next question is, now we are coming to an end with this season talk with Rev. Now that's why we are here, kind of incorporating this credit giveaway tonight. Now I want somebody to tell me which episode in episode 10, who was the guest and what was the topic? So, who was the guest on episode 10, and what was the topic? Now, I hear you talk about music, Gigi. Tell us
Yes.
about all the songs that you have now going on.
Okay. He is here. The very first one I wrote, it took me 5 years to actually listen to the voice of God and go ahead and record it. So shortly after doing that, we recorded and it was released. I went back to my label and I said, I want to write a song. And he said, okay, go ahead and do it. So a lady from the US military, she said, I want you to write a song that gears to women, and just go home and write it, and you know you could just give me permission to use the song. I said, okay. It took me 2 weeks to write that song. It's the longest it took me. And it started coming to me and coming to me, but it was more of me. It's like, I am free to be me, a beautiful queen. And I'm like, okay, God, that don't kind of sound too nice. I don't want that. So I sat down and I took it back and I said, God, I need something else. And then I went back into my life and I see where God has brought me from. And I started writing. And I'll put it down. And I was driving with my daughter and I said, Naira, um, if you would tell me about yourself, what would you do? How would you tell me, like, to where you are right now? If you see me too, what would you say about me? And believe it or not, everything I had in that song, she told me. So I said, okay, confirmation. I go home. I said, God, I'm gonna dedicate the song to you. And
Indeed.
that's where free came. I'm free. If you knew my story, you understand why free came. And
Yes.
then, of course, big up my God. And then I call you friend. I call you friend. Um, is my favorite. I got it on I-95.
Mm-hmm.
So after I did that, my label, one of no artist has ever wrote a Christmas song. So one day I was at work and a nurse, he said to me, he was like, oh, sweet baby Jesus. I said, if you don't stop saying sweet baby Jesus, Jesus is grown up now. He said, you know what? Go home and go write a song about baby Jesus. I said, okay. They were all joking. Went home and I said, God, I've never written a Christmas song before. I don't know where to start. Help me. And I sat down midnight, just start writing, just humming and humming and humming. And that's how baby Jesus came. And the next one is A Man Called Jesus. I started writing in January. I said, God, I need a song for Easter. And, I said, just give me the words. I need it for Easter. I wanted to come out at Easter. And I talking to my producer. I said, I'm gonna write a song for Easter. He's like, are you sure? Easter's so far away. I said, yes. I see a vision for the song. It's not gonna come out to Easter anyway because I'm not gonna rush it. And he said, okay. And I sat down and I started thinking about the miracles of Jesus. I didn't get them all into the song, but I got most of them. And I said, God, I need to tell the people about you while you were here on this earth. Why are you this man called Jesus? Tell me the things that you did. And I look up on the internet, I went to my Bible and I just start writing, writing, and writing. And that's how it came. Man called Jesus. And then the other one, I can't announce it yet, what's going on with that, but it'll be out shortly.
Awesome, awesome. You know, I'll ask you this question. And before I ask you this question, just want to say congratulations to Shauna K. Brooks. She was the winner of that question. So the question which it stated who was the guest on season 10 and the topic, and it was indeed Una Mae Sharp, homosexuality and the church. So
Mm.
congratulations, Shauna K. Brooks. All right. Have you ever dealt with performance anxiety?
Yes, I did. My very first concert I put on last year, I did by myself because of the pandemic. And fear is a bad thing. And when people speak negative things over your life is also a bad thing. And I remember I was so hyped for the concert, and everybody, all the performers, they did well. But when it was time for me to go, I got the jitters, and it's because I'm going to get a lot of backlash for this, but I don't care. I really don't care. So, my ex-husband, when I used to go to sing, he would push me, but then he would like, pull back a little. So he would always say to me, "You sing so good, but you sing so good, but you do this so good, but." So it's that but that was in my head. So I'm like, God, am I good enough to put on this concert to go ahead and sing in front of these people? And I went up there, and I could just feel the shaking, and I said, "Oh my God!" But then afterwards, I said, "Okay." I just like in the middle of the performance, I said, "God, I need you to help me," and that's how the concert came through. But um fear is a bad thing, and when people speak negative things over your life, it's a bad thing. And that's why I dealt with that. But pushing forward, I said, God, I need you to take that spirit of fear away, because I only fear you. I don't fear man, I only fear you. So with that being said, the next few came easily because I pray and I just trust God. But that fear, whoo, it will damage you.
Indeed. I hear you talk about fear. I hear you talk about fear.
Yes.
How do you deal with that when
um
fear come upon you?
Honestly, I got to remind myself who I am. I got to remind myself the God that I serve that is bigger than anything or anyone out there. And that's what keeps me motivated, because even just walking into work, that spirit of fear just come upon you. Am I going to be able to deal with this? And it can overpower you. And this fear is real. So with the way I deal with it, I got to be like, okay, God, I'm going to need you to help me. You tell me, I just tap in onto you. I need you to help me through this. I no fear. Give me that spirit of boldness, but I'm gonna put you first. But I want that spirit of boldness. And honestly, that's how I get through every day. Not one day that don't pass when I'm like, God, no fear. It's you. It's me and you now. You first, and right behind you. And that's how I get through my days.
Awesome, awesome. And indeed, indeed, that is good. Now, I'm seeing somebody here send asking a question. It
Okay.
says, do you think gospel artists should do secular music?
No. So, and I know people probably say, okay, well, you sung My Endless Love. And that's why I went in and I said to my producer, and I said, I don't want to do secular music. And he never pushed me. Never, ever, ever. So when I went in, I said, okay, to my husband, I said, I'm gonna write a song. We both gonna sing it together. I want to make something for Christians. And because you're singing mixed messages, I don't think we should at all. It's mixed messages you're sending. It's either God or the devil. You can't have both. It's either hot or cold. If you lukewarm, he's gonna spew you out. So God wins, and my answer is God. So I don't believe the church should mix with secular music at all. At all.
Indeed, indeed. And one thing I realized though, and watching you from then coming to now, I realize that you always put God at the center of your music, and that is great. As an artist, that is so great to put God at the center of your your music career. And definitely, if you continue that way, definitely you will go far.
Mm.
Um, Let me just chip in one more questions here for our viewers, right? On episode on episode 13, who was the speaker, the guest, and what was the topic on episode 13? So, on episode 13 of Talk with Rev, who was the speaker and what was the topic about? Now, I hear the name Gigi, but tell us about that name. I think I know the last name. I think it's your husband, right?
Yes.
But tell us about the Gigi.
Oh my God. So, okay, if you really know me personally, you know Gigi's my nickname, and I just love the name Gigi. My real name is Tanisha P. Fowler, and I know some Tanishas up here, and I'm like, no, I don't want to be like them. So I'm more stick to my Gigi, and I love it because my parents, like I said, I'm number 13. They have 14 children. I'm number 13, and none of our names go with our nicknames. And my brother couldn't say my name, and he started calling me Gigi, and that's how it stuck. And I went along with the ride, and I'm not I'm not gonna stop the ride. I love the name Gigi. I look like a Gigi.
Uh, and indeed that is that is true. All
Oh.
right. Now, what is next for you, Gigi? What is next?
Okay, so after did my first collab, that's coming out momentarily, and hoping to start. Everywhere's opened up now, so we're gonna try to start get more gigs so we could start touring. And I want to hit Jamaica first because that was the first place I was supposed to hit. Had gigs, and it just with Corona, it just it flapped. So, hoping to start touring soon.
Awesome, awesome. I hear you talk about Jamaica. I'd asked you this question before, and you gave me an international artist. What about who would you do a collaboration with in Jamaica?
Oh my God. I just tapped into Christopher Gale. I don't know, for some reason, I love him, but there is another artist, Jason Mighty. I would love to collab with him. His music is just fun. I love it. He goes back into the old time thing, and then but he just do his thing too. I would love to collab with Jason.
Indeed,
Yes,
indeed, indeed. But I heard you talk about the Grace Thrillers, right?
yes.
The Grace Thrillers. I know there's a new set. Why didn't you want a collab with the Grace Thrillers?
I don't like to change. I'm being honest with you. I like the old sound. I know most of their music because that's what I grew up on. And to me, it ministers to me the most. I love the voices from them. So it's just that I I don't like changes. I'm like my daddy when it comes to music wise. Like I have to start out with you, but like the old one. It's here. It's here.
Awesome, awesome. All right. So, before I ask my next question, or one from the viewers, I want to say congratulations to Tiffany Clark with that question. It was definitely Evangelist Nurseth, daily turn to God or burn in hell. So, congratulations, Tiffany. Uh, my next question from our viewers. It says, what are your opinion the dress code of the gospel artists?
Okay. So I know I'm not, we all grew up in an apostolic church. I just believe in modesty. You're not going to see me on stage in some shorts or, just nothing revealing. I just think we should just modest. I don't judge people because I used to do that. And I'm gonna be honest. I see somebody wearing a pants and I used to judge them. And I'm like, And then it's just like, outward appearance and their heart was pure. I went to somebody else that had the white dress on, the natural hair, And boy, the story that comes behind it, I just think, I'm being honest with you, people might not like it. I just think it's modesty. As long as you just modest, cover up, go ahead.
Awesome. 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 Definitely, definitely. So, well, modesty, you have to, because even in the house of God, we have to dress appropriate. And we see
Absolutely.
nowadays, persons are just, doing this breast leg and tie thing. And, um, about your Christian, let's go a little bit
Okay.
before I ask you to share a little encouragement, and before I ask you to share your platform and share a little music for us, a little piece of one of your songs. I'm gonna ask you, what is your Christianity background like? What is it like, in terms of, differently from music? I heard you said you were doing all of that back then in church. What is it like now? Is it just music, or, you do a little bit of preaching? Tell us a little bit about that part.
Not no preacher. Honestly, right now, God is moving me to a different direction. I know I'm not a preacher, but like right now, like I'm involved with the church that I go to is like the women's department. Like my pastor is amazing, and like with my church background, it was mostly music. But right now, it's like I tune more into Bible class because I'm at the place right now where I just want to learn more. I felt like I was like on a tour for Bible class. I finish this live, not live, but what is it called, babe? Zoom. I would do this Zoom, then do that Zoom. I'm gonna go to the other one. I just want to feed more into my spirit right now. And that's all I'm interested in right now, just to feed the spirit because after things open, I have to learn the word. So right now, I'm taking that time for Gigi to learn the word, and that's what I want to do right now. If you want to talk, I'm have a listening ear, but mostly right now. I encourage people and I push them. I tell people my testimony a lot. I open a lot in church and I tell my testimony, but I enjoy right now being fed, and I'm just taking it all right now.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. And definitely, as I said, I love the way how you are going as an artist. In all that you're doing, you are not leaving God out of it. And definitely that is a good thing. Now, before I ask you to just share, a word or an encouraging, whatever you want to do, and then I'll come back, and then you'll tell us about your platform, how persons can listen to your music,
Uh-huh.
how they can reach out to you, to even do a virtual, because, as you see, we are going virtual now. Everything, mostly in Jamaica, it's going virtual now. Now,
Right.
I want to ask, just chip in a question here, right, before you go ahead and just share with us. In episode 15, who was the guest, and what was the topic? Episode 15, who was the guest, and what was the topic? Episode 15. So I'm going to ask you now, Gigi, to just go ahead, share with us whatever God has laid on your heart, and then we will come back, and then you'll tell us about your label, and who you're with, and then we'll take it from there, before we close.
Okay. So what God has laid on my heart is that, like I said earlier, you got to be true to who you are. Be true to God. Know the God that you serve. You have to put God first because it doesn't matter how rough it gets. There's a God that loves us unconditionally. Do not, and I mean, do not listen to the lies of the devil. The devil tells you you can't do this, you can't do that. But you know what? The devil take time out to study you, to study me. Us as Christian, take time out to study his tactic. What is that word? We study the devil's move. Study him, just like how he take time out to study you, because he knows your weaknesses. Learn his weaknesses, which is, the devil knows that God is strong. He knows that. And he knows you are strong. He knows your strength. He knows your weakness. And pray and ask God for guidance. Ask God to just lead you. As rough as it may be, don't give up. And us as Christians, sometimes we'll be like, okay, we're going to fast and pray, and we don't do it. You got to live up to it, because us as being Christians, that's the only way we're going to make it through. Because this world right nowadays, it's not easy. It's not easy living, period, because the hearts of men have become wicked. But learn to live, learn to trust, learn to call on God. It doesn't matter where you are. Don't deny God. Don't deny Him. I don't care where you are. Pray. Learn to build that relationship with God and pray, because that is what's keeping me. And I could tell you something. I went through something in my life that was so rough until I surrendered and started to just know God for myself. Until I surrender and say, okay, God, I cannot win this unless you are in the forefront. I give up. I let go and let God. Don't just say it. Mean it. Let go and let God do what He has to do. It's not going to be easy. He never said it was going to be easy. But you have to think about, in the long run, the reward. The reward. And every day, that's what keeps me going. So even when the devil comes to you with something, I always think about, okay, if I do this now, how would God feel? Because with me being Gigi, I don't want to crucify God. I crucify Him enough. People crucify Him enough already. My job is to make my daddy proud. My job is to live for Him. No matter what it takes, I'm going to live for Him. I made a vow to Him. I said, God, if you help me to live, if you help me to do this, I will never, ever turn back. And every day, that's what keeps me. If the devil's telling me to do something, I say, okay, God, I promise you, as hard as this is getting, but I promise you, this is what I'm going to do. But I need you to help me, even through my tears, and I'm crying. God, help me. And I just realized, just trusting God and allowing God to do what He's doing in my life. Things are working out. It's not working out how I want it, but He's the master. He's the master. He's in control. And once we know that God is in control, and once we start to serve God the way that He wants us to serve Him, don't care about what people have to say. It's not about them. It's not about people. It's about God. And once you get that in your head, it's a wrap. It's about God. Fast, pray, communicate. Communication to God is the key. I never knew it was so important, because people always used to say, go ahead and talk to God, talk to God, talk to God, talk to God. And us as Christians, we're going to say, yes, we're talking to God, but do we really do it? But I promise you, I promise you, the minute you take time out and you start talking to God, you start serving God, you start fasting and praying, and you like, oh my God, life has changed. I am where I am right now because that's what I started doing. I don't only speak it, but I live it. And it's been a difference. And I wouldn't change it for nothing in the whole wide world. I am so happy that God put me in the family that He placed me in. He gave me my dad as a dad. I never understood growing up. I used to cry and be like, why? And man, when I get older, I wish if COVID wasn't so bad right now, I wish I could wash that man's feet, because he taught me God. He taught me the apostolic way. I wouldn't trade it for nothing. Bishop Fowler, a lot of people don't understand, but that man poured so much into not only his children, but he poured into other people. We don't know what we have until we get a little bit older and start to think. But I'm telling you, I thank God for my dad. I thank God for the Charlotte Apostolic Church. And I also thank God for the United Pentecostal Church, because they have taught me a lot. They taught me a lot. And even the church I'm at right now, Ignite the Flame, they're pouring into me. But it's because of the foundation that my dad has set. He did a wonderful thing, and I thank God for that man. I thank God for that man. I praise God for that man. Hallelujah. And I just want to continue to live my life for God, no matter what. No matter what. I made a vow that, Jesus, I am going to go through with thee. I'm going to live my life for God, because I'm going to trust you, because I know at the end, my reward is coming. It's coming. Whatever is going on in the world right now, I don't care. I really, really don't care. And it took me a while for me to say that. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me, because I tap into the God that I serve. I tap into Him because He makes a difference. I'm not just saying it. It's just not a facade. I'm telling the truth. Tapping into God made a difference in my life. Tapping into God made life better. because 2, 3 years ago, what I went through, and I see God brought me out of it when the forces of hell opened up and wanted to kill me. And I said, God, if you spare my life, if you spare my life, I'm going to serve you. And God has allowed me to live today. And I can't go back to that because I made a vow with God. I'm here for God. And I don't care who like it or not. I'm going to do this for God because God, that's my daddy. He will never leave me. He don't want to see me hurt. He don't want to see me cry. The only crying I should be doing right now is crying for joy because I know one day if I live for him and if I do his will and do his commandment, I'm going to see him one day. And that's my mind frame. I got to see him one day as a sweet smiling savior. I have to see him as a sweet smiling savior and I'm going to do everything it takes. Everything. I don't care who may like me. If I lose friends, it is what it is. God is more of a friend to me. God is more of a friend to me. He's my God. He sacrificed his only son for me. That's love. Which human being is going to do that? The devil ain't going to do that for you. The devil not going to do it. All he wants to do is to hurt you. He wants to see you cry. He caused pain. But my God, he's sweet. He's love. He's joy. He's peace. He's contentment. Hey, that's what I want. That's what I want. Is my God. I'm here to live for him. So everyone, live for God. Tap in on that God you know. Trust that God you know and see what he will do. Trust him. Live for him. And you will see. It's a big difference. It's a big difference. Amen.
Indeed, 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 indeed. I want to thank you tonight, Gigi, for being here, taking the time out of your busy schedule. Even though, I had some ups and downs. As I tell you, I had to come out of my parish just to have this interview because
Yes.
definitely I decided that I needed. It was not structured. We came in and all things was so going so wrong and all of that. But to God be the glory.
Yes.
We have had the interview. It was not at the best as we could, but definitely to God be the glory.
Amen.
We pull through. We pull through. But before I ask you to tell us your information on how persons can find you, how persons can follow you, and all your networks that you post music to. I'm just gonna ask this last question before we wrap up. Which date was the first episode of season 2 started? Which date was the first episode of season 2 uh, started? And I'm not sure if you want to throw in a question that is fine after they answer this question. After you finish shared, and after you just give us a little piece of your song, you can throw in a question at the end of you giving us that little piece of your song, whatever God is laid on your heart, whichever one of your song. But just tell
Okay.
people where they can find you and how they can contact you and all of that and how they can follow you.
So you could find me on Facebook as GGP Rivera. That's my personal page, which is public. You could also find me on my music page, which is GGP Rivera Music. I'm also on Instagram as GGP Rivera. I'm also on YouTube as GGP Rivera, and also TikTok as GGP Rivera. Or you could go to www.ggpriveramusic.com for all bookings, anything, and just to download the music.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. But before you ask your question, Gigi, I'm just gonna ask you to just give us a little piece of your song. Give us a little piece of that great voice that you have. That a lot of persons on here are not really used to, so they can know that they know that yes, you are a songbird.
Okay. I keep saying I love I call you friend. So here we go. I don't deserve your love. 'Cause there were so many times I failed you, but you still came into my life, wash away my sins. Now I am redeemed. So I call you friend. I call you king. I call you Lord of all that came and rescue me. I call you friend. I call you king. I call you Lord of all that came and rescue me. In spite of all my wrongs, in spite of all the pain I've caused to you, but you still came into my life, wash away my sins. Now I am redeemed. So I call you friend. I call you king. I call you Lord of all that came and rescue me. That's it.
My God, my God, my God. I want to thank you definitely, um, Gigi, for being here and talking with Rev.
Yes,
Definitely at some point in time, when you release any more new songs, you can definitely forward them to me. I'll definitely put them at the intro of my program. We'll be going on a break for this season, and we'll return. Thursday will be our last show, so we'll be going on a break for this season and then come back on March 1st. But I want to thank you, Gigi, for being here tonight, and definitely it was great, having you here tonight, and definitely feel free to come back at any point in time. Any point in time.
absolutely.
Do you have it?
I will be on.
Okay. Do you have anybody that you want to big up?
My mommy. There is an evangelist on here that my spirit is just drawn to her. She has a hat on. I don't know her name. She keep popping up. But I don't know. I'm just drawn to her. Um
Mm-hmm.
she I don't there she goes, right there.
Yes,
Miss Daly?
evangelist. Yes.
Yes. I don't know, but it's something about her I'm just drawn to. I'm loving her right now.
Yes.
So big up to her. Yeah, praise God. Yes, I want to shout her out.
All right. So before we go, Gigi, nobody has gotten the question that I asked first. When was the first episode of season 2 started? Nobody got that question. Persons texting about the date, but that was not the correct date. So there's that question out, and also I'm gonna give you the chance to ask another question.
Okay, so this is gonna be an easy question, so y'all better get this one right. What's the name of my newest single?
What's the name of her newest single?
Yes.
Come on, I just giving you guys 30 seconds to answer that. And indeed, definitely, Diana Nelson, you are indeed correct. Diana,
Ah,
you are indeed correct. It's February 25. Definitely, that was the first episode of Talk with Rev. So I'm going to ask you, um, before we go, I'm going to ask you to all the persons who have won tonight. I'm not sure if this is this correct, Gigi.
yeah, she's on it.
She's on a rap. She's on a rap. And definitely congratulations, Dan. So I'm gonna ask you to contact me on this number. It's 829 7311. That's 829-7311, and I will WhatsApp you the credit right away. So the rest of the credit, we have more credit, but we are out of time. On Thursday, hopefully, we will definitely have some time to give away some more credit before our season comes to a close. And as I said before, our season comes to a close on Thursday. So on Thursday we have For the Hard Way, right? We will have Apostle Una May Sharp, Evangelist Cordia Green, and also Evangelist Nurseth and Minister Shellyan Rose. So definitely that is something that you want to tune in to, and definitely you want to see us here on Thursday as we wrap up on this season. So, and on behalf of the production team that is here, I definitely want to thank you, Gigi, again for being here on the program Talk with Rev, and definitely look forward for another invitation on the next season to come, and hopefully we'll have a more structured thing and a more better platform. So I hopefully we'll be on radio. We are just sorting out that the little grips and the corners to be
Absolutely.
on the radio. So definitely until that is sorted out, I we will hopefully be back on May 1st, 2021, with Talk with Rev season 3. So I want to thank you again, Gigi, for being here. So I'm seeing your mother is saying what time. It's 8 p.m., so it's 9 p.m. her time, right? It's 9
Yes.
p.m. her time. So definitely see us here for our final show on Thursday. Definitely. So until then, do you have anything you want to say before we go, Gigi?
Yeah, we're going to tune into Reverend Dunn on Thursday at 9 p.m.
Yes.
our
And
time, 8 o'clock his time, and just continue to just serve God. That's all I
and
have to say.
and definitely I tell you, you see, Thursday it is For the Hard Way. I'm not even counting myself tonight. For the Hard Way, we have four powerful women of God coming to talk to us, the vaccine and the church, right?
Okay. Yes.
So we are coming to they are coming to have a great time. So again, all of the persons who have won tonight, we have Minister Anton Johnson, Diana Nelson, we have Shanna K. Brooks, we have Tiffany Clark. Um, I'm going to ask you to just contact me at 829-7311 right away so you can receive your credit. So that's 829-7311. So until we meet again, thank you for being here, Gigi,
All
and may
right.
the peace of God go with you all.
God bless you.